So it forces you to be sharper. I get why teachers and parents with kids, because it adds another dimension to your character, and also just gives you a perspective you wouldn't otherwise have.
No, and it's interesting because, again, coming back to the lessons we were talking about, I mean, he watches, like most kids his age, he watches YouTubers playing video games, right? And it's interesting because I got so many business lessons out of watching. I would have never watched these YouTubers on my own because, it's just watching people play games. I still don't understand how this works. I mean, it's one thing to play a game and enjoy it, but, kids these days, they watch YouTubers play the games and they love it for some reason. But anyway, it's been interesting to watch guys and girls, young people, playing these games, have millions of followers. That's the only thing they do. And I was kind of getting pulled into like 100 different directions of like, I've got a business, I'm writing, I need to promote this way, I need to do audio, I need to do video. And then last year I had this kind of aha moment where I was looking at these people and they're doing that one thing and they're doing it with excellence. And therefore that's attractive to their audience. It's like, that's the reason my kid watches them. It's not because they are good on Twitter or whatever. They have this one thing, they do it really well and they stick to it. And that's what people come to them for. And I was like, I'm trying to do like these 100 different things. No point. I'm a writer. I will always write many different things, but I don't have to be, creating videos and having a YouTube channel. If it doesn't feel right, I can just do one thing, do it really well, and trust that people will come to me for that.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of made a decision with this as well, like with interviews, because I've been doing them for 20 years. So I just in various forms, like the podcast is 5 years old, but it's one of those things where it's just like, okay, let's keep evolving it and let's keep trying to make it as excellent as I can, and I'll draw the right people to me because I'm telling these great stories. And the thing about Twitch, here's the interesting thing about Twitch, like that's which is ironically on the platforms this is being viewed at right now. It's simply that it's the process of it's not even so much what they do, it's about interaction, right? So so when you watch someone play a game, because I do follow a few YouTube channels myself, and you're interacting, you get this really unique access to the person involved that you don't get anywhere else. You go on television and you watch television, right? Well, the newscaster or the sports personality or whatever the case you see on television, it's a one-way interaction. They are interacting to you. They are telling you how to do this. Consequently, though, I can go on. Could you imagine, just hypothetically, right, if your government was on Twitch? Like, seriously, could you imagine that?
Yeah.
Everybody would have this access to them in a way that would be unprecedented. I actually think that would be a fantastic thing because it would force it. Yeah. But the thing is that that's the appeal of YouTube. That's the appeal of Twitch, is because you get this unprecedented access to like anybody here. I'm on Facebook and I'm there right now. It's like you can, like, anyone that wants to post a comment on, say, Twitch, they can do so, and we can interact and respond, and it also can change the whole interview. That's the other thing about it too. Sometimes what happens when you watch a stream or anything like that, and this is the appeal of it, you can dictate the course of the stream, because what happens is, let's say we're talking here, someone puts a random comment about anything, right? It completely changes the flow of the conversation in a very different way. So it gives an audience a sense of power that they would not have anywhere else. Even YouTube, like, even though YouTube is still kind of one way, it also kind of isn't. There is that aspect of, you can stream live on YouTube, you can stream live on these big platforms, and you can get people the opportunity to come in and do different things. But ultimately, right, it's that interaction and that consistency, and that's why you do a newsletter. It's interaction and consistency, right?
But that's the part that's kind of amazing, but also terrifying as the creator. It's because, like, my newsletters, I can control. Once I've written it, I can edit them. I can, and when you're live and when you're talking, you're just there, unfiltered. And I think that's the fun bit of it. I mean, I used to do a lot of live streams a few years ago as well, just on my Facebook and things. And it's great interaction. And I love doing it with somebody so that, you kind of have a back and forth. But I remember when I was just sitting there on my own trying to talk about a subject, and then, I found that quite challenging, but in a good way. But I also kind of feel like you...
what am I doing here?
Yeah.
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 And also it's kind of like, well, that you make yourself vulnerable in a way that, I mean, as writers, we're always making ourselves vulnerable, but we kind of control to the level to which we can do that. We can always write something, come back, say, okay, I don't feel comfortable with this. And then when you're live and you're talking unfiltered, you kind of just, you're chill, you're relaxed. And then you go, oh, did I really say that?
I don't worry about it. Like that, like
I don't,
the
but
secret.
that's the hesitation is like,
Yeah, well, you can't, because here's why, right? Like we're taking a risk. We're talking live right now. Someone here could say, "Oh my God, what the heck are we doing?" But the fact of the matter is, like, I think it's also the nature of where business is going today, as well, right? Writers don't have the luxury of anymore of just being complete introverts. They just don't. Like, we don't have that luxury anymore. The idea, like even in fiction, like the idea of going to an agent, going to a publisher, going, "Hey, listen, can you do all?" No, they don't. Like, none of them do. The reality of the situation is, I call it the professional wrestling effect, because that's initially like that where they saw it, like the idea of people promoting their stuff and telling their stories and doing their things and drawing money to come your way. That's been around for decades, but now it's happened. Now it's become the norm. People that are watching this, I'm hoping, like again, they're getting a good story out of this, but I'm hoping they subscribe to the podcast in some way or fashion. You're hoping some of my audience will check you out, because obviously you teach really good things about freelancing, and guys, she really does. She has a really cool perspective about it too, which is really, really neat. Right. But that's the hope. Like, that's the result. But but what we're doing too is we're almost creating an interactive play and a story as of right now.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, that awkward "what if I suck" thing,
but you will.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with that. I completely agree. It's that hesitation of what will I suck? And the truth of the matter is, of course you will. There will be a point, at some point you will, initially, I guess, when you first start, we all suck at everything. So you might as well just get that over with and then become confident and comfortable with it.
Yes. Well, actually, sometimes sometimes you surprise yourself. Like, I started drawing because I want to tell comics, and I'm broke. So since I'm broke ass, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna teach myself how to at least draw competently enough.
Yeah.
Right. I've sold 2 pieces of art. Now, it wasn't for a ton of money, but it's like, okay, that's a confidence booster. Yeah. I didn't even sell my writing that fast. Right. It just bang. Right. It's like, wow, that went quick. Right. So now I'm like, okay, now I got to challenge myself. Can I figure out some other things so I can get to where I really want to get to, which is tell stories with right.